Good, happy Tuesday morning, March 10, 2020. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Tuesday morning, so let's begin. First up, teachers, staff members in New Hampshire schools self-quarantine over COVID-19 concerns. Officials say staff member might have come in contact with people who tested positive for virus. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Jennifer Crompton.
It's the Honda Dream Garage Spring Event. The perfect time to get that awesome new Honda you've been dreaming of.
This Newmarket mom enjoying a walk with her daughters who would ordinarily be in school. The superintendent making the decision to cancel today after learning late Sunday that a staff member may have been exposed after riding on a bus with a person later diagnosed with COVID-19. Dr. Susan Givens making the decision to give her time to make a plan.
I think not knowing exactly last night when we found out late, I think it's probably a good idea that we just erred on the side of caution.
The Department of Education is continually communicating with districts and following CDC guidelines closely.
I want to assure everybody that both the Department of Education and the Department of Health and Human Services are working very closely together to make sure that we monitor this situation, and we're doing everything to make sure that everyone is safe and has a safe learning environment.
They're also giving schools guidance on decisions regarding school trips and what factors to weigh to decide whether it's a good idea to proceed.
If you are traveling to Washington, D.C., or maybe you're traveling over to Vermont, then there would be different considerations. Some of the other things that schools will want to take into consideration is the mode of transportation. Is it going to be on a public airline, or will you be traveling in a chartered coach bus where you'll be contained with the same cohort of individuals?
Schools here are closed tomorrow, but because of an already planned professional development day for teachers, they will reopen on Wednesday. And as for that teacher that was exposed to someone who later tested positive, they are in self-quarantine. We're live in Newmarket. Jennifer Crompton, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. All this Brookline schools closing Tuesday due to virus concerns. SAU 41 announced an employee was being tested for COVID-19 virus. As a precaution, schools will be closed March 10th. Voting will still occur. COVID-19 coronavirus in New Hampshire. What you need to know. There have been 4 positive tests for COVID-19 disease, which was first detected in Wuhan City, China, in New Hampshire this past year. New Hampshire data. The number of positive COVID-19 tests, 4. CDC has confirmed 2 of them. Number of pending COVID-19 tests, 8. Number of negative COVID-19 tests, 44. The number of people tested since mid-January, 56. The number of people being monitored, 225, approximately number. Let's take a look at the patients. Let's take a look at patient 1. Patient 1. Patient 2. Patient number 3. And patient 4. Symptoms. Officials said symptoms might appear in a few as 2 days or as longer as 14 days after exposure. Symptoms include fever, cough, and difficult breathing. Prevention. What to do if you are sick. While it's clear how quickly or easily the coronavirus that leads to COVID-19 is spread, human coronavirus are most common spread through the air by coughing or sneezing, close personal contact, touching an object that has the virus on it, then touching your mouth, nose, or eyes. Common techniques to avoid spreading the virus include frequent hand washing, covering coughs and sneeze, and then washing your hands afterwards. How testing works. The state public health laboratory now has the capability for test for COVID-19. While the state health workers can confirm COVID-19 cases locally, samples still need to be sent to Centers for Disease and Prevention for official confirmation. Cases that test positive locally are considered presumptive positive cases until the confirmation is made. COVID-19 in New Hampshire. 4 number of people in New Hampshire who have tested positive for COVID-19. 1,363 number of people worldwide have tested positive. 0 number of deaths from COVID-19 in New Hampshire. 22 number of deaths from COVID-19 in the United States, and 3,892 number of deaths from COVID-19 worldwide. 3 people in Grafton have it, and 1 person in Rockingham has it. And the common symptoms are fever, cough, and difficult breathing. And be sure to stay with the Riley Network on all the latest of COVID-19. New Hampshire couple stranded in China due to coronavirus concern. Father, hopeful son will return soon. Let's take a listen to that video from WR News 9.
It's the Honda Dream Garage Spring Event. The perfect time to get that awesome new Honda you've been dreaming of.
Checkpoints all along the way. In China right now, they've eliminated all toll roads.
Life isn't the same in China.
You can't go to the store. You can't go to a movie. You can't go to the park.
Thomas Balarjan lived there from 2005 to 2015. Now in Sandown, his thoughts are with his friends, and especially his son Aaron and his daughter-in-law. On February 1st, they traveled to China to celebrate Chinese New Year with their family.
News about the virus had not really been widespread.
Then their flight back was canceled, leaving them stuck without a way home.
So his first opportunity to come back to the States right now is April.
Balarjan says the Chinese government has strict rules to prevent the coronavirus from spreading, including requiring people to have health ID cards and get their temperature scanned at public places.
They track you day to day to day, GPS, via GPS, to ensure that your health is good and that your access to these places is appropriate.
Restaurants are beginning to reopen, but with restrictions.
My friend went to dinner with his wife for the first time in a month, right? And they had to sit at separate tables.
Despite the difficulties, Belargin says progress is being made, and he's hopeful his son will return home soon.
Everyone that I've talked to is very encouraged about the virus beginning to subside and about being able to go back to work and feel more comfortable about living a normal life again.
The couple has been passing the time by spending time with the wife's family and playing games while confined in a home, but they are looking forward to coming back, hopefully by next month. Live in the newsroom, Mike Cronin, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Grand Princess finally allowed to dock at California port. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Unfolding in California at this hour. That ship on board of the 46 tested, at least 21 people testing positive. They're being brought off the ship at this hour. And then the careful operation bringing more than 2,400 passengers who will now be tested themselves to 4 different locations, U.S. bases, where they will be put into quarantine. ABC's chief national correspondent Matt Gutman from California tonight.
After being barred from coming to shore and circling off the California coast for days, the Grand Princess today finally slipping under the Golden Gate Bridge and into San Francisco's harbor to dock in the city of Oakland. Some of the 3,500 people on board watching from their balconies. One passenger waving a white flag as that colossal public health operation unfolded below.
More tents and ambulances lined up.
2 passengers and 19 crew testing positive for the virus, ambulances rushing the sick to the hospital. The captain explaining to those on board just how it would work.
Priority disembarkation today will be given to guests with more urgent medical needs.
I'm gonna cry. Wow, it's so nice to find out that we're finally getting off the boat.
Asha Burgess and her boyfriend, who are traveling with their parents, dreading that quarantine.
We're really concerned we're gonna get separated and quarantined away from each other.
Waiting for them buses and planes to whisk those American passengers to 4 military bases in California, Texas, and Georgia, where they will all be tested for the virus. Just days ago, the president suggesting he wanted the passengers to stay on board.
I'd rather have the people stay, but I like the numbers being where they are. I don't need to have the numbers double because of one ship.
President Trump has said that he would prefer if none of the passengers aboard these cruises landed on U.S. soil. Did he mention any of that to you?
I had a private conversation with him, and he said everything that I could have hoped for. And every single thing he said, they followed through on.
The State Department now urging Americans, especially those with underlying health conditions, to avoid cruise ships.
No large crowds, no long trips, and above all, don't get on a cruise ship.
And the CDC still holding another cruise ship at sea off the Cayman Islands. 2 crew members on the Caribbean Princess had worked on the Grand Princess earlier and are now being tested.
Matt Gutman with us tonight from San Francisco, and Matt, authorities reassuring communities where they're taking these passengers that they're going to keep everyone safe during all of this. So how long will it take to get everyone off that ship, and what can you tell us about these reassurances tonight?
First, David, safety, it has been an issue here, and that's the reason the mayor of Oakland has said that the operation you see behind me will use the best isolation practices known. Now, we can report that the first 21 people have been taken off. That's everybody who was tested positive for the coronavirus, plus 2 companions. In addition, they are offloading other passengers as we speak, and officials tell us they hope to get all of the passengers off by Wednesday. David.
All right, Matt Gutman on the unfolding scene there. Matt, thank you.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Manchester police investigate alleged assault with firearm. One woman injured after being assaulted with firearm in Manchester, police say. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
It's the Honda Dream Garage Spring Event, the perfect time to get that awesome new Honda you've been dreaming of.
Right now, Manchester police are investigating an assault involving a firearm. Police say a person showed up to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, saying they were assaulted and that a gun was fired during the incident. Officers searched an apartment believed to be involved but did not find the suspect. Police say this was not a random act and the public is not in any danger.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Brush fires challenge crews in several towns. Fire danger high statewide. Dry wind, bad combination, firefighters said. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Tyler Dumont.
It's the Honda Dream Garage Spring Event, the perfect time to get that awesome new Honda you've been dreaming of.
This is what Andre Balargin came home to after a frantic call from his wife, an office administrator at the town fire department. She heard her own address dispatched Monday afternoon as the spot of a reported brush fire.
I said, oh, great. So I double-timed it back here, and I got here just about the same time the fire department did.
Charred leaves, now spread across nearly the length of a football field on a nearby hillside, show just how close the fire came to his Exeter home.
It got right up to 10 feet from the porch. So it was really close.
Firefighters were luckily able to contain the burning brush and eventually knocked it down before it caused any damage. In Rye, crews there also eventually contained a brush fire that officials said grew to nearly 3 acres just after 2 p.m. Officials say they were challenged with having to run extra long water hoses into the woods behind the backyard of a home.
Typically in March, you don't have these days, certainly not in the middle of March like this, but it's a warm day. The wind was strong.
It's still so early in the season, the state isn't even issuing a daily fire danger report yet. But firefighters say today's weather conditions, dry, warm, and windy, are a bad combination.
This was ideal brush fire conditions.
Now, the cause of both of those fires remains under investigation tonight. Meanwhile, the homeowners at both of those properties told me that they are grateful to the firefighters who responded quickly and got them under control right away. Reporting live in Exeter tonight, Tyler Dumont, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Stocks tumble amid coronavirus fears, slash in oil prices. Financial planner with Harbor Group advises investors have patience. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Charisse LeClaire.
It's the Honda Dream Garage Spring Event, the perfect time to get that awesome new Honda you've been dreaming of.
The stock market tumbling today, seeing its worst day since the financial crisis of 2008.
Investors are still concerned about the coronavirus, its spread, and its effect on global markets. But the big thing that happened today was the cut from Saudi Arabia in oil prices over the weekend. And that caused a pullback in the energy market and therefore a pullback in the overall stock market.
Today's slide triggering the market's circuit breakers, a 15-minute halt to trading to try and prevent panic selling and increase stability that hasn't been used in 2 decades. Financial planner with Harbor Group, Ryan Callahan, is reminding investors not to panic.
We're telling investors to maintain their focus on their long-term investment goals.
Meantime, the Secretary of Health and Human Services is urging employers and educators to have a plan so industry and education don't completely shut down in areas that may be impacted.
every employer, every educator in the country should be ramping up plans that they have to enable that, just in case in their local area there's a particular need for individuals to stay home.
Ryan says this is a unique pandemic, and it remains to be seen how the market will recover.
Pandemics typically are a V-shaped recovery, so you usually have a quarter of lost productivity, and then you recover in a subsequent quarter. We don't know how long this one's going to last, so it could be more U-shaped, but we're just telling people to maintain their patience, keep their focus on their long-term investment horizons, and do not try to time this market.
And now President Trump met this afternoon with Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin, his economic advisor, and other aides to talk about some actions that could be taken. The president says his administration will ask Congress to pass payroll tax relief and other measures to ease the impact of the coronavirus on workers. Monica?
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Dow features point to opening surge of 800 points after Trump floats payroll tax cut. Stock features rose early Tuesday morning after the S&P 500's worst day since the financial crisis. And that does it for this morning edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. They'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.